Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to this midweek review with Mr. John. I am Mr. John, and I don't know if you can hear this, but there's beeping and banging and trucks backing up and constant. I'm just dealing with this huge issue right now, trying to give you my message and dealing with this giant problem I have outside. So if I get really loud, just understand I'm trying to overcome what's going on outside. But when I hear this and I think about me trying to tell you the story, it reminds me of the great story we hear in the Bible. And I know you guys know this one of David and Goliath, right? Goliath was this Philistine, 9 feet tall, arms just huge. He was a warrior, big guy, and the Philistines are trying to conquer the Israelites. Now, in those days, what they used to do, instead of sending whole armies to battle each other, the kings would decide to send their best warrior to go out and challenge the best warrior of the other tribe, and they would get in the middle of the field. These two guys would battle it out, and whoever won, that whole army got to claim victory, and then they would get to basically take the other tribe as their prisoners and or make them part of their tribe. And that's how they would do it. And it was a way that you didn't have to kill everybody, so families weren't separated from their fathers, because remember, back in those days most women didn't work, so they needed the men to take care of the families, and the people realized that. And the biggest guy that the Philistines had, the best guy the Philistines had for their fighting, was Goliath. Like I said, the 9-foot giant. The Israelites, they send out, well, looking around, I'm not seeing anybody come out, right? Nobody's coming out for the Israelites, because they took a look at Goliath, and I think they were like, this giant, this problem, we don't know how to handle it. And they were scared. Then Goliath decides that he's going to go out. He's going to stand in the middle of the field every day, and taunt the Israelites, making fun of them and making fun of their God, because nobody was willing to put it on the line to go after Goliath. Well, in those days, armies, like the Philistines are over here, the Israelites are over here, and the armies actually couldn't go anywhere, because at any time the war could break out, right? So what they used to do is the families of the men would bring them food. Well, one day we met a guy named David last week, right? And we met his dad, Jesse. Jesse decides that a couple of his sons are in the army. He needs to get them fed. So he goes to David and says, hey, David, can you bring your brother some food so they are, healthy and plenished for if the battle takes off? So David goes and does it. He gets to the battlefield. And he's standing there, and there's Goliath doing his, you guys are terrible. You guys, your God is terrible. You guys are weak. Your God is weak. Just making fun of him, right? And David is instantly incensed. He is mad. And he starts going around and, guys, you've got no faith. You guys need to get up. Somebody needs to get up and challenge this guy and take him down. And the Israelites are listening to David, and they start going, hey, David, stop causing problems here. They're so scared of this giant situation that they're in that they are turning on David, because he may force one of them to go out and fight this huge issue, right? So David is still telling everybody somebody needs to do this. Come on. You got to have faith. Trust in your God. You can do this. And so somebody tells the king, King Saul, that David is stirring this trouble, and they send David to Saul's tent. David is sitting there. He is so sure that God is on his side. Remember, he's just a boy. He sits there and tells Saul, listen, I will fight Goliath. Saul kind of looks at him a little bit, and here's where I think Saul has kind of forsaken God and kind of turned his back on God a little bit. Remember, you've got a 9-foot Goliath. You've got probably maybe a 4'11", maybe 5 foot tall David. That's a lot of difference in height, a lot of difference in muscle mass, a lot of difference in strength, and a lot of difference in how they fight, right? You know, he's a warrior. David's a shepherd. And just so Saul sits there and he relinquishes. He lets David go to the fight. Saul is like, okay, David, if you're going to go and fight, here, wear my armor. David puts on this armor. And of course, you got a man armor put on a boy. It's all clanky and it's too big and it's too heavy. And David can't move well. He decides he's going to fight without it. So he goes down to the river, and he goes down there and he grabs 5 smooth stones, walks to the battlefield, and immediately looks at Goliath while he's up there taunting and sits there, and I challenge you, Goliath. I'm the guy that's going to take you down. And when I do and I take you down, I'm going to take your head. And Goliath does something that I think we might all do when something like, say you're standing there and some little mouse comes up. And this is probably what it looked like to Goliath, a little mouse coming up and challenging you. Goliath roared in laughter, making fun of David, making fun of the people for not sending somebody else besides a boy. So next thing you know, David starts winding up his sling, and he's whipping it and whipping it and whipping it, and then he lets go. And I truly believe that this stone, even though David was super good at using his slingshotting stones, I mean, he sat in his field defending his sheep from lions and bears. But Goliath is a different type of thing, right? He's 9 foot tall. David slung the stone, but I think God guided that because it hits Goliath right in the perfect spot, kind of right there, dropping Goliath right there. Excuse me. Goliath is dead. David, because of his faith, saved the entire Israelite nation from defeat of the Philistines. He was so sure that God would watch over them, take care of them. Do you have issues when you've got these problems? Like, I've got so much noise going on. I don't know if you can hear it over the camera or not. I don't know, but it is echoing right through here. I've kind of got a breezeway, and they're right out here fixing the road. And I'm trying to do this, and it's distracting, but I want to be focused on telling the story, because I believe that we can come up and rise up above our fears, above those things that we think we cannot do. I think we can rise up if we have faith in a God who says that, yes, you can do that. So guys, if you're scared of something, ask for help from God. If you are having an issue with something that maybe you think is bigger than you, ask for help. Put your faith in God. Trust that you can get it done. So guys, we're going to continue next week with our story of David and stuff. Isn't it getting it cool? I mean, David literally took down a giant today. Have a great week. verse is coming up next. I hope to see you next week. Have a great one. Bye, my friends.
Sing to the Lord with grateful praise. Make music to our God on the harp. Psalm 147:7.